If you are over 60 and you still masturbate, there is something happening inside your body right now that most men only discover when it is already too late. And what I am about to explain may change the way you see your own body from this point forward. Hello, I am Dr. Elena Martinez, and today we are going to have a very honest and very private medical conversation that most men avoid for years. Not because they do not care, but because no one ever explained it clearly. Let me ask you something directly. Have you ever finished and noticed that something feels different than it used to? Maybe the sensation is not as strong. Maybe the release feels weaker. Maybe the volume is lower than it was years ago. And even if you never said it out loud, the thought crossed your mind. Is this still normal for my age? Or is something starting to change? If you have ever had that thought, you are not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common silent concerns among men over 60. And the problem is not the question. The problem is that most men never get a real answer. They hear opinions. They hear myths. But they rarely hear what is actually happening inside their body. So today, I am going to explain that to you in a way that is simple, direct, and based on how your body actually works. Because the truth is not as simple as people make it sound. And more importantly, what you are experiencing is not random. There is a reason behind it. And once you understand that reason, everything starts to make more sense. Before we go deeper, take a moment to subscribe, because I share clear and direct information for men over 60 that most people are not comfortable talking about. Now let's start with something most men were never taught. Your body does not stop working after 60, but it does start working differently. And the biggest change is not what most people think. It is not just hormones. It is not just age. The real change happens in circulation and in how your prostate functions over time. Because every time you experience arousal and release, there is an entire system working behind the scenes. Blood flow increases to the pelvic region. Your prostate and surrounding glands produce fluid. Muscles contract in a very precise sequence. And everything needs to be coordinated for the process to feel normal. When that system is working properly, this process actually supports your body. It helps maintain tissue health. It keeps circulation active, and it contributes to overall prostate function. That is why, in many cases, regular ejaculation can be part of maintaining a healthy system. But here is the part that almost nobody explains. That benefit only exists if your internal system is still functioning the way it should. And after 60, that is exactly where things begin to change. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, in a way that most men do not notice right away. Blood flow to the pelvic region starts to decrease. And when circulation becomes less efficient, everything connected to that system begins to respond differently. The glands may produce less fluid. The pressure may not be the same. The sensation may feel weaker. And in some cases, the volume becomes noticeably reduced. And this is exactly where most men make a mistake that costs them years. They ignore it. They assume it is just age, and they stop paying attention to what their body is trying to show them. But this is not just a random change. It is feedback. Your body is showing you that something inside the system is shifting. And if you understand it early, you have options. If you ignore it, it usually progresses, because this does not stay the same. Over time, many men begin to notice other changes. Waking up at night more often, weaker urine flow, less consistency, less confidence, and by the time it reaches that point, the situation is already more advanced. Now, there are two types of men at this stage. The first group chooses to ignore the signals. They wait, they adapt, and they hope things will not get worse. But the second group pays attention early. They understand that this is not about the act itself. It is about what is happening underneath it. Because what actually controls everything here is not just hormones. It is blood flow. It is prostate function. And it is cellular activity inside that system. When those three things are supported, the body behaves differently. The system becomes more efficient. Function becomes more consistent. And the changes you noticed do not progress the same way. Some men are already taking this approach seriously. They are focusing on supporting circulation in the prostate region. They are working on maintaining healthy nitric oxide levels. and they are helping their body sustain proper cellular activity over time. And when that system is supported, something begins to change. Not instantly, but gradually. Control improves. Consistency improves. Confidence begins to return. And for many men, the difference is enough to realize that this was never just about age. Now, if what you are experiencing sounds familiar, I strongly recommend you check the link in the description and in the first comment. It explains what is actually happening inside your body and what some men are already doing to support this system before it gets worse. Take a few minutes after this video and look at it carefully. Now, there is one more important point, because not every situation should be treated the same way. If something changed suddenly, very quickly, or comes with pain or discomfort, that is something you should not ignore. That requires proper medical evaluation. But for most men over 60, what is happening is gradual. And gradual changes are the ones that are easiest to ignore, until they start affecting more areas of your life. Sleep, energy, confidence, relationships. That is why this moment matters more than most men realize. Because awareness gives you control, and control gives you options. So instead of ignoring what your body is showing you, pay attention to it, understand it, and take action while you still have the advantage of time. If you are noticing these changes, do not ignore them. Take a few minutes after this video and check the link in the description and the first comment. Understanding this early can make a bigger difference than most men realize. If this helped you see something differently, leave a comment below and let me know what stood out to you. And subscribe, because I will continue sharing information that most men never hear, but should. Take care of your health, because it affects every part of your life. And I will see you in the next video.